Hi friends, I'm excited to be here with you today to share another layout for Shimmerz paints. I am going to be using the June color kits and they are absolutely gorgeous. I love the color combinations, and here I'm going to demonstrate some of those colors for you. So that first one is the Vibes Rip Van Periwinkle. Then I did the Spritz Pipe Cream. That's like what kind of white creamy color. There's the Colorings Don't Be Swayed. Is the kind of brown color. That shimmery blue, navy purpley blue is called Iris My Case. And then the turquoise is a Shimmerz Pull Me Close. So those are gorgeous, and I love how all of those colors look together. So I'll also be using the paper color kit. So this is one of the sheets of ephemera that was in the kit this month, and I went to town doing lots of fussy cutting on lots of these embellishments and pieces and parts. So I started with that fence and then went on from there. So I cut that out because it's not any fun to watch. And then I skipped ahead to starting the background. So here I am using texture paste and a stencil from Pear Tree Cut Files. And I'm only doing it kind of on that bottom half because that's where most of it's going to show, but then most of it ends up not showing. So in the final layout, you don't see a lot of it, but that's okay. And then I took the piece of turquoise pattern paper there and cut it apart and made it look sort of like a fence. And you'll see me in a minute bring all that back on. So here what I'm doing at the top is I started by spraying the Vibes Rip Van Periwinkle, and I just sprayed that right onto the layout and then used my paintbrush to spread it around and get it in the areas that I wanted it. And then I'm also adding that Shimmerz Pull Me Close. The Shimmerz is one of the formulas that comes wet when you order it and get it in the and get it in. And you just kind of have to mix it with a paintbrush and then it's ready to go. So that is a beautiful color. Lots of shimmer, lots of shine on the Shimmerz Pull Me Close. So I kind of wanted to blend it a little bit with the blue at the top so that it was looking a little bit like sky blended in there. And it's going to be just poking out above the turquoise fence that I created. And then here you'll see I'm going to do the bottom half as well. And where I'm adding the color will make sense when you see the final layout. So I did it kind of across the top, kind of angling down a little bit on the right. So I kind of wanted it to angle down a little bit. And then I also sprinkled in some of that Spritz Pipe Cream, and that gave kind of a more dimension and looked like little white spots a little bit in there, but it also has some dimension to it. So I loved that. And then on the bottom half, I'm adding the Shimmerz Iris My Case. Love the names of all of the Shimmerz products. I always think they're super clever. So that is a Shimmerz, also comes wet in the little pot of color. You just have to mix it around with your brush. And then I am adding, you can see I'm adding it to the bottom, kind of doing it, pointing down in the center. And then I do add just some spritz of water to spread that around over those words. You can see when it dries, you'll be able to see the words really well, where it picks up the color and the shimmer and shine. And then that's going to be, and some sprinkle or some splatters here. And then I will also splatter in that Spritz Pipe Cream again here in a second on the bottom half. I'm just going to do that with the lid of the bottle, splatter that on. And then I'm going to set it off to dry. And I let it dry, and then I just picked up the excess with a paper towel. I actually kind of love how that looks. My paper towels have a pattern in them, and so it kind of leaves a little bit of a pattern in the mixed media, which I love. I can't ever switch brands of paper towels because I love the pattern that it is. It's kind of like a little plaid with dots in it. So I love how that looks. So here it's completely dry, and then this is one of the pieces. This was it's a very simple pattern paper, but it was one of my favorites in the paper kit this month because I love the color. So it's a very vivid turquoisey color. aqua turquoise kind of color, seafoam a little bit. And it was already a wood grain, and then I just cut it in slats, and I did notch out the tops to kind of look like the tops of wood are a little bit rounded when you're building a fence. So I did that, and then just glued those down to the background, distressed the edges and glued them down. And then I'm going to be layering my photos on top. These are photos from a day we spent in Jamaica on four-wheelers. So we did a four-wheeler tour through the mountains, and I thought that all of these colors and the vegetation and everything that I'm going to be adding to the layout was perfect for that day we had in the mountains. There was lots of beautiful vegetation and things that we saw as we went through that tour. So here, the fence that was on the ephemera page that I had fussy cut out, there were two of them. I cut out both of them and then combined them into one, just kind of overlapped one of the little pieces so that it looks like one fence. And then it's popped up on craft foam. And then I'm going to be doing vegetation looking like it's growing up and around that fence, kind of hanging down from the fence. And I love how beautifully all of the colors this month are carried through with the pattern paper and the ephemera and the mediums, everything, all of those purples and aquas and turquoisey shades are so beautiful. So I love how all of this looks together. So what I did, these are all little pieces that I had fussy cut from either the ephemera sheet, and then the turquoise flowers are from one of the the backs of one of the pattern papers. So I did fussy cut out all of those things tediously, but I love to do that. And then I'm going to layer them up using different levels of craft foam, different thicknesses, so that they kind of sit and have a visual variation in depth there. And bending up the edges of everything like you see me do always. And you can see I did add dry adhesive and wet adhesive to anything that's sitting on that background because it does have that shimmer and shine. It is a little bit more difficult to glue things to, and I have texture paste back there and all kinds of stuff. So just make sure you use a good amount of adhesive. I do keep the adhesive away from the edges of the flowers and leaves so that they can still bend up and they don't get glued down. So I just do the glue in the center. And then here, adding a few more little pieces. Off to the right, and then I'm also going to build a cluster to the left of the photo as well. You can see I am kind of playing around with the different flowers to decide based on the color and the shape and size of the vegetation, like what looks best where. So I do play around with a few different things to try to make sure it looks right. And then off camera, off to the left, I did that little cluster hugging that left side of the photo. And then now I'm going to go back in and tuck in some leaves that I had cut. Few more little flowers. I did use flowers that were only partial flowers. So some of them, when I fussy cut them from the paper, there was only half the flower. as I was cutting them. So I did tuck those in, these little turquoise ones right here. I was able to tuck those in to where the part that was partially removed was not shown. And then I do go back. I had glued, they were good and glued down now. I had time to dry, so I did go back and rough up those edges a little bit. And then these two pieces, the title and then that really cool globe that says See the World, are both from Bramble Fox. So I did use those from my stash. And that word adventures was the perfect color to go with this layout. I loved that. And I actually loved how the gray coordinated as well on the globe. So I got those in there. And then this is just, I'm pulling my stash out for little crystals and sequiny things to go and add in coordinating colors to the middle of the flowers and to the clusters. This just adds lots of little shimmer and shine, and it makes those ephemera pieces that would otherwise be flat, gives them a little dimension as well. And then here I used pops of color in purple and turquoise and went and added that around the clusters and the flowers as well. And then here, this finishing touch, I took the Color Splash, the new Color Splash formula that just came out that I absolutely love. It's a glossy acrylic spray. I used the Gold Digger shade of that and did splatters around the layout to add both dimension of the acrylic paint and then also gold detailing. So I love how that looks on the final layout. And then here, I have a few close-up photos of the layout so you can see all of those details. And I hope you enjoyed the process. If you decide to place a Shimmerz order, which you should, if you add my name in the comment section, Sarah Millerhouse, you can get a free gift with your order. And I hope you enjoyed the process and will join us for another video soon. Thank you guys.